Alright, that should do the job.
Marvellous. I've got stuff coming through to Twitch. Audio check. I've got stuff coming through to Twitch.
Whey!
Audio check. Yep, stuff's going through to both Twitch and YouTube. We are good to go.
Fantastic. Camera mode. Go.
Yay! Yay! Good evening on TheSuffolkRam.
Skazz.
And welcome to episode 138 of the Randos podcast.
Are you sure? There was a bit of hesitation there.
I had to think for a second and look over at the screen, see what I've written in it earlier when I worked it out.
Don't worry about it.
Can I just say, this is amazing because the webcam that I'm seeing is basically black and there's like this sort of gentle glow that is your face. But on the stream, it's perfectly lit.
Fantastic, isn't it?
That's magic. That is really bizarre. That's like how much that's like so directional. There's hardly any light bead coming through. And I can see you got the same issue as I have with the hairdressers all being closed.
Isn't it great? Well,
It's marvellous.
I'll right. So two things. One, about your hesitation for the date. This morning I was like, okay, it's Saturday, Ran Nerds podcast, rocking, get ready. Somewhere through the day, I've forgotten it was Saturday, Ran Nerds podcast, until you messaged me, and I was like, oh Christ, Rams, we gotta do the podcast. And
I did think earlier I try and message you just to remind you because I know what you're like.
hang on, I'm just right. To people who think it's a fantastic idea to phone me when I've told you all to piss off, stop it. All right, you're wearing my patience thin, and they're already pretty thin as is. Like, my patience is thinner than the elbow of a university fucking teacher's jacket. Let it go, okay?
Let it go, let it go.
And about the bad hair day, I might not have any hair by the next episode.
Well, you're going to pull it all out?
No, I already have been. I've pulled a massive chunk out of the middle of my head. I can actually
don't do
feel
that.
I've picked it red raw, so I'm actually going bald. So I'm like, screw it. If I keep this up, just because I'm being locked in the house and I'm getting stressed out because I can't get anything done, I'm just gonna shave my hair off. It's
Why
fine.
not?
And
Yeah, it's fine. To be honest, you have a very much... I know you're much of a Star Trek person, but there's a character called Chancellor Gorin,
right.
and he's a Klingon, and he's a very similar look.
Oh, there you go.
In fact, the magic of the internet is I can actually put a picture of him in the Discord. The viewers at home will not be able to enjoy this unless I put a naughty link on our show notes.
Right now, I hope this doesn't completely knock you out of the feed when I click the thing to see it.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
It'll be.
I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. Oh, you're there.
No.
Because you've gone very quiet at my end.
Good. I'm waiting for this magical picture. Oh, there we go. Metal as fuck. That's hardcore. 10 out of 10. There we go. I'll take that.
Fair enough. So, yeah. So, welcome, everybody. So, without further ado, we're still in lockdown. We're still going mad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some of us are in lockdown. Some of us have been told we're too essential to be in lockdown. Have been told to go back to work.
Which I think is
Oh, no, that's not fair.
hilarious.
Asked nicely to go back to work and accepted.
You're a plank.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
don't. No. I don't want any of that. You chose this. You chose this.
It was a moment of weakness.
ain't
Oh,
kidding.
mate, I really need someone who's experienced and come help us, who knows the systems inside out. Can you come back to work, please? Oh, go on then.
Well, at least you get to leave the house.
But, well, yeah.
Just doing my head in.
Yeah, that is.
I have got stuff. I don't technically exist still at this point.
No,
Ever since
that's
the
marvellous.
wedding, I'm not even a real person. I've got stuff I need to do. COVID-19. Look, whoever's playing Plague Inc., either finish the game or fuck off, please, because I'm getting bored of this.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. They're not doing a very good job. This is the worst campaign I think I've ever seen anyone play Plague Inc. They're doing a terrible job at it.
They've just gone off. They're going off to have breakfast. They've just left it running.
No, the mistake they made was, right, this is the mistake they made. First of all, they went too quickly with the sort of symptoms. The trick to play, you want to make it something that spreads really easily, it has very few symptoms, so people don't notice it. Only after you've spread across most of the globe, then you introduce total organ failure. That's the golden moment where you add it in.
It's going to turn all their vital organs into liquid shit.
Yeah, they went way too soon. They went way too soon with the total organ with that. And as a result, everybody shut the borders down, and that sort of stuff. They fucked it up, basically.
Yep.
So, but it's obviously their first game. I think this is just proof that we do live in a simulation. And what's happened is the people in charge of the simulation, their 15-year-old son or daughter's got on it, loaded the Plague Inc. mod, and that's what's gone wrong.
There you
But
go.
do you know if it's great? Plague Inc. Have you played Plague Inc?
No, I haven't. I've got it, and I've been wanting to stream it just to
You
take
need
the
to
mickey.
stream it. You need to stream it. Plague Inc. It has all these crazy headlines come up. Doing the thing. They start very benign and sort of just funny, ha. And as it gets on, it's things like, so and so is now shooting the infected, and that sort of stuff starts coming up. It gets more and more things like they're now culling all birds.
All right, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. But I think President suggests injecting disinfectant into your veins to cure COVID is one of those headlines that would come up there. You think, that's stupid. But it happened.
Good old life.
Yeah.
The truth is stranger than fiction.
Do you ever feel that at some point, accidentally, we got teleported to a parallel universe?
Sometimes. I've had a few kind of Max Payne style dreams of late, and I'm like, wait, this can't be real. Or like, I wake up feeling like, so I wake up from a dodgy dream, and then I wake up, and as I'm awake, I'm having the Max Payne moment, and I'm like, okay, this ain't real. This ain't real.
Are there lots of pink flamingos in it?
None yet. Yeah.
Well, it's not from Max Payne dream, is it yet?
Oh no, I mean the murder and the screaming.
Oh, that bit. Yeah, you're getting that one, are you?
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Although, should be said, I would like to do a playthrough of Max Payne 1 and 2 in the near future. However, apparently it's a right ball ache to get them to run on Windows 10.
Is it?
And it was a bit of a ball ache to get it to run on Windows 7.
Yeah.
So,
see, I played through Max Payne 1 in a space of about 2-3 days. Played through Max Payne 1. Loved it. Immediately loaded up Max Payne 2. Wasn't so keen on Max Payne 2. Don't know why, I just wasn't so keen on it. I don't know, it's just sort of like... I don't know, I can't place my finger on it. It just, something part of the formula was gone.
I love the story of Max Payne, the characters in Max Payne, and the kind of story behind how Max Payne was developed. Like, the villain, the main kind of evil bitch in the game is actually the writer's mother?
I don't know.
And the character in the comic strips who is Max Payne is actually the writer of the story. He's like the director in the game studio. They all just literally took pictures of members of staff and family members and stuck them in the game. They just applied like a comic filter to it. But I love all that. Never once have I fully finished a Max Payne game, though. I just remember having to save scum like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Because that's like one guy, you take out two guys, and then one guy's just like hops out from around the corner and you're shotgunned into dust. Great.
It is, but when you get a moment where you just go through an area and you do it perfectly, and you're getting all the headshots, it does feel amazing.
Oh yeah, look, it almost feels like, and I might just sound stupid here, it almost feels like sometimes Max Payne is more a rhythm game than it is...
No, I agree with that.
or a puzzle game than a third-person shooter, because sometimes you'll run into a room, you think you've got the lay of the land, and just randomly some geezer you didn't notice just wipes you out. But once you realise where those cheap bastards are, and you take them out, everything else just seems to slot into place.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. But I need to figure out how to get it to run on Windows 10 properly so I can stream it.
Virtual machine. Yeah. Dual boot with Windows 95 would be fine.
That'd be fantastic. Could you imagine, like, stream the actual boot sequence of a 95 PC? That would be brilliant.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, we'll stream it now. Come back in about half an hour. So, it'd be marvellous.
Got to do it.
So, that leads us into nicely. Skazz, what have you been playing?
I haven't.
Oh.
Right, so, here's the thing. I wanted to play Max Payne, but as I said, it's proving to be awkward to get running on Windows 10. And I figured in the end, you know what, I will wait until... So, I've got it running, kind of. It's a bit squiffy. Even on an SSD, even with lots of power, it's a bit squiffy. But streaming it is proving to be really, really awkward because of the way the game kind of hijacks the screen it's on. So I have to have a second screen plugged in to be able to get like a semi-full screen kind of playthrough of it and be able to capture it, because it won't let me window it. It's either full screen or nothing. And so it just started to get really awkward. So I was like, all right, what we'll do is we'll wait for the new PC to arrive. It isn't here yet. And what I'll do is I'll launch the game on my laptop and run the laptop through a capture card on the big boy PC and stream it that way.
Yeah.
Also, I actually learned something about my new PC.
What?
It's not really going to play very friendly with new capture cards.
Oh, is it not?
No, new capture cards all seem to require NVIDIA 10 series graphics cards. I went the AMD route.
That was your mistake, you see. You should go like me, gone NVIDIA.
Yeah.
It's the way it's meant to be played, guys. They tell you that at the start.
That's like EA Sports, mate. It's in the game.
It's in the game.
But
and then there's EA Big.
Like, what the hell was Big for anyway? I never remember what that was for.
I thought it was another separate division who also made sports games.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because there was a point that EA, all they basically made was sports games, just changed the year slightly.
Yeah, all it was a roster update every year.
Yeah, basically something that could basically be a database patch. It was just like, yeah, okay, what we're going to do?
Well,
okay,
here's the trick, mate.
Basically, all they did was they got the guy in the graphic design department to change like 2002 to 2003.
They changed a few of the palettes. They changed a few of the colours. They did some palette swaps. And then, as you said, just updated the player names. That's it.
Right, that was all built into the game. All they literally, the game showed what date was on your clock when it was installed. That's how new version it was. And literally, all they did was every year there'd be the intern's job to go out there. And all the games, the boxes they hadn't sold, they take the old sleeves out, put the new sleeves in, put a little sticker over the disc, and they ship those off to the shops first.
I don't know why, but you know when you said you put a sticker over the disc? I just have this vision of like a version that hasn't been sold since '95 and it's got like a 3-inch thick layer of stickers on it.
Well, that's the tragedy, you see. They've got to make sure that the intern who does it gets told that, right, the ones you have a sticker are the first ones to go out. You know, it's like you know, if you were watching a food shop, you bring the old stock to the front.
Yeah, but you know there's going to be someone going, oh, I don't give a shit. Sticker.
Yeah.
Sticker.
Well, they are interns.
You know? But, yeah, because I didn't get a chance to really play anything new, I actually did give Final Fantasy Remake a go. Middlemeister, you're fucking wrong, mate.
What's he wrong about now?
Game fucking sucks, mate.
I thought UFC its praises last week. Wow.
Well, so here's the thing. It looks good. It sounds good. And the bits that are true to the story are fantastic. The bits that actually give you new bits of story are fantastic. But, do you remember when you said, are they making it longer for the sake of making it longer?
Yes.
They are. Very much so. Oh my god, yes, they are. And it's gotten to the point where today I was streaming it for about 3 hours and I just said, you know what, I've had a fucking enough of this, and almost put my head through the table. I could not be fucking bothered anymore. I've seen my wife play through segments of this game that in the original were a couple minutes. You know, train graveyard, 10 minutes in the original game. Fucking 2 hours plus, 3 hours in the remake. With a whole new storyline. And a mini-boss and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck is half of this even doing in here? It's not even worth being here. It doesn't expand anything. You know where we were saying last time about Animal Crossing turning into, like, devolving into busybody work?
Yeah.
That's Final Fantasy VII Remake. If they're not telling you something new, you know, expanding on a bit of the story from before, it's just busybody work. Hours and hours of quests that don't really go anywhere, that maybe drop a single nugget. Like, let's say you do 3 hours of quests, you might get a nugget of new information expanding on a previous character from the original game. Right? But so much fluff. And someone will say to me, but Skazz, you can avoid doing a load of the quests. It's like, yeah, you probably can. But if you do, I've got a funny feeling you're going to end up grinding like a motherfucker to level up. Because the only reason you're going to be doing a lot of these quests is to go outside to battle stronger enemies that they say, help me fight this thing, please, because it's really tough and it's whooping our asses. Okay, I'll go do that. And then the big strong enemy spawns, I kill it, get loads of experience points, level up, job done. Oh, it's... I want to like it, because when it does drop, you know, a little bit of expanded story on characters from the original game, it really is great. But when it tries to when it tries to make the world seem more lived in, when it tries to make me care about characters that didn't exist in the previous game, I'm just like, why are they even here? So as an example, I went through about 2 hours worth of quests to help children in this orphanage. And the woman who runs the orphanage, they start trying to make you give a shit about her. Don't care. Wasn't in the original game. Couldn't give a tosh. She's not an interesting character at all. Right? After all that time, she name drops a character from the original game. Oh yeah, he used to run this orphanage. I could never be as good as him. And I'm like, wow, that guy, member of Avalanche, the terrorist organization, used to look after orphans. That's his motivation for joining Avalanche, to stick it to the organization Shinra Corp. But was it worth all that time to get that piece of information? No. An entire segment of the game, right? So when at some point in Final Fantasy VII, Cloud falls through a roof of a church and meets the character Aerith.
Yeah.
Right? From that moment on to the point that Aerith's mother tells you to get out of her house and never speak to her daughter again is... You've done that bit. How long does that roughly take?
Oh, God.
Like crossing the roofs, getting to her house.
That's a long time ago.
I mean, what would you say? Like half hour?
Yeah, to be honest with you, that would be a guess, because it's years since I played Final Fantasy VII, so... Yeah, half hour, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. How does 3.5 hours sound to you in the remake? 3.5 hours.
Wow.
Her mum told me to get the fuck out of the house. I started making my way to the Sector 7 slums, and I got sick of it. By the time I got to the Sector 7 slums, where you sit on the slide and then you progress the story where you see Tifa come out of Sector 7. I'd have probably been sat there for 4.5 hours at that point. Just too long. Too fucking long. Minor set pieces in the original game didn't need to get their own storyline. They didn't need to get their own arc.
It is a phrase I learned a few years ago, which I like. It's called "murder your darlings." Mm-hmm. Have you heard that one?
Yes,
before?
I have. Well,
Yeah,
the way I was always told was it's called "kill your babies."
Yeah, same difference really. The idea is sometimes just because you think something's great doesn't necessarily mean Apple. Do you need to be prepared to just quite harshly cut stuff out and remove it if it doesn't help or advance really? You know, that could be anything. That could be cutting a feature from a game. It could be cutting a good example for a game. We Happy Few survival elements, cut them.
Yep.
They didn't help anything, but it's like that's one of those darlings. No, cut them. And as you know, when you've edited video and stuff, the hardest part, the video editing is more about cutting stuff out than putting it together. It's knowing what to cut out, what you don't actually need, that makes the video a lot better. Yeah. And sometimes you think, well, this tells some information, but actually it flows better without it. The video works better. It's all about being harsh.
Yep.
With yourself, and it's hard, particularly when it's your baby. It's really hard to do, but you have to make it better. And it sounds to me like, everybody who was doing this were a bit too passionate about it.
Yeah,
which should be a good thing, but they've got a bit too involved.
I understand where a lot of this kind of expansion is coming from, because they're even sticking a lot of mid-game content right in at the start. All right, so they're trying to rework the flow of the story a bit. But what scares me about it is, one, Square don't have a particularly good rep in recent history of finishing games. Okay? So, Final Fantasy 15, as an example, had a metric butt ton of content cut out. So much so that there is actually going to be a book released later on this year finishing the Final Fantasy 15 story.
Wow.
A book. Right.
Basically, it's all the developers' notes.
Then, the other thing that scares me is Final Fantasy 7 Remake, on average, is around a 35-hour game to complete. Okay? 35 hours. The entirety of Final Fantasy 7 is about 35 to 37 hours. How much padding is going to be tossed in to the rest of the content? How fucking long? Like, I'm looking at bits in the game in 7 that drone on. I hate Train Graveyard, and that's literally a 10-minute segment, if that. Right? That becomes a several-hour segment. You know how you freaked out when you got to Gold Saucer?
Oh, God, yeah.
Now imagine that, because that's quite a long section.
I'll be honest, guys, I never played past it.
But that's what I mean. Now imagine that becoming like a 3, 4, 5 hour segment.
That'd be what would put me off playing the remake. Because I'm interested in playing the remake. But if I found that Gold Saucer was either expanded, I'd quite happily let them rework it by taking that out.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone I've met likes Gold Saucer.
I wasn't a fan, to be honest. It's great to go back to. So once you finish that initial story part, great to go back to, because then you can go play the mini games and stuff like that. But other than that, not great. Not fucking great.
So the mini games aren't that particularly good either, to be honest.
Well, no, they're not. But they're like some of they're kind of the little subsections that you had earlier on in the game, like riding the motorcycle and things like that, just so you can replay those sections.
Oh, right. Have they still got the section where you would command the armies?
Oh no, that's outside of Midgar, isn't it? That's outside of the first city.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Remake doesn't cover anything outside of the first city yet. And again, like this is what I say. This is what worries me. Because
So does this end on the bike chase?
I haven't finished it yet, but we've already had a bike section with a
Oh,
whole new character introduced.
Oh bloody hell!
So you know how Cloud is an ex-soldier,
Yeah.
and I use sarcastic air quotes there. They introduce new members of Soldier, or a new, previously unknown member of Soldier, or at least a member of Soldier I don't remember. Now, from what I remember, and I must confess, there's a game that takes place after Final Fantasy VII I haven't played called Dirge of Cerberus. From what I remember from Crisis Core, which comes before Final Fantasy VII, Soldier's gone. The head of Soldier is dead. Dead or missing.
There might be some other soldier members around.
But the whole organization collapses. So who the fuck is this guy? They introduced him. I haven't seen him since. So unless he turns up again later on for some random reason. But just, I've got this feeling
I
where...
wonder. There's a bit, isn't it, where Cloud reminisces back to his days as soldier, isn't there?
Yes, but they've already shown parts of that in the remake.
But I don't know if maybe this guy will turn up in further flashbacks.
No, because Cloud didn't recognise him
Oh.
in the fight.
Perhaps he'll be in the background of the flashbacks and Cloud just pays attention to him.
Maybe.
Perhaps in the past, has he got a beard in the foot covered now? Perhaps the past he did,
Well,
and that's why Cloud doesn't recognise him.
I like how they've rejigged some of the story. You know, I do like how they're explaining things a little quicker, and you know they've already established that Cloud's got PTSD and stuff like that. But just the way they've stretched a lot of stuff out. Go and help the children at the orphanage. Okay, you've done that. Now go and find the children that are scattered around town to tell them to go back to the school. The children have gone back to the school. Okay, now go back out to where they set up their little base and go and kill a monster. You done that? Awesome. Go back to the school, then go back to their base and play a mini game. You done that? Cool. You finished that section.
Is the orphanage before or after that part of Midgard gets dropped?
Before.
Do you think it's trying to sort of like set up a connection to the area and then
No,
it's like,
wrong sector.
oh really?
Wrong sector. This is the sector. So you know when you go from the church,
Yes.
right? You hang left from the church,
I can't remember that much,
up, right?
but yes.
Just left from the church, and you go through that little slum area before Aerith's house. And there's like literally a couple of houses, an item shop, and then Aerith's house. The 3.5 hours I play today take place entirely in that single screen of the slums.
Yeah,
That
it's
one
taking too long.
square, that one square with the item shop, you know, or the item shop, the guy that lives in that piece of pipe, that little area, that one screen before Aerith's house.
Now, do you think part of this could also be that having played the original, you remember the original? If you hadn't, and it's all fresh,
Right, so here's the trick.
Do you think it'd be not annoying you so much?
If I hadn't have played the game, the original game, if I didn't already know where the fuck half of this stuff was going to go, I'd love it. If I hadn't played Final Fantasy VII, I would probably love the remake. It's great. But because I already know what's going to happen next, for the most part, if they haven't massively rewritten it, I'm just impatient. I'm sat there going, for fuck's sake, stop dragging your heels.
Yeah.
Can we please get on with the game? Can I please get to the more fun bits? Because there's often times as well where the game throws you into this gorgeous combat sequence, and then it does the whole show not tell, or it shows you it rather than you doing it, and you're like, can we please get away from this several minute cutscene so I can get back to the fighty please, where I'm actually pressing buttons and interacting with the game? And can we get back to the game part of this? Oh god, just... Oh, by the way, the section where they drop the plate on it, they don't really do a lot to make you like any of the characters there. There's like nothing. Nothing at all.
Sort of ruins the whole point, really.
Yeah. Oh hey, go replace some water filters. Kill some monsters that are loose in a nearby factory. A couple of the local militia tell you to fuck off because you're an ex-Shinra employee. And you're like, I don't like any of you guys now. And in my head I'm like, they're going to drop the plate on you later. I don't give a flying fuck about you anyway. Yet they tried to make me care more about the members of Avalanche through... so Avalanche is Wedge, Biggs, Jesse, Barrett, Tifa, Cloud. I don't think I've missed anyone. Right?
I don't think so.
They expand on Jessie's story because you get to meet her family. Lovely. Her motivation for joining Avalanche is that her father is dying of Mako poisoning. Because he used to work in the reactors. Biggs used to run an orphanage that used to look after all the kids that, were obviously orphaned by accidents caused by Shinra, and they're not giving a shit about staff and all that. Wedge hasn't had anything happen yet, but the little bits they have expanded, great. But I didn't need... How long have I been playing now? 13 hours? I didn't need 13 hours of extra stuff tacked on for that. What was one of the other ones? Aerith explaining Wall Market. That little area where Cloud does the cross-dressing section. I haven't got to the cross-dressing section yet, but the fact that she explains how it came to be, that was quite nice. That she explains that the Sector 6 plate, when they were constructing the whole plate above Midgar, fell. And so that's why all of the area of Sector 6 is a complete and utter ruin. So do you remember where you have to fight like the ghost houses and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That's why that area is like that, because the plate fell when they were building it all. So those little kinds of bits, lovely. But otherwise, no. I'm hoping this goes somewhere. But as I say, my fear is that Square is going to make the game so big that what was a 35-hour game, and was at times quite a slog in the original, is going to become a several 100-hour game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be. If they even finish it.
Could it just be that the expanded bits are just a bit hit and miss? Because some bits you like they've expanded, some bits you're not so keen on.
Well, like I say, I like the bits where it's like, hey, Biggs used to run this orphanage. But I didn't need to go through, 2-3 hours worth of quests for you to tell me that.
They've got the balance a bit wrong.
It's like, okay, like I said to you earlier, go and help the children. Help the children. Go to the orphanage. Go find the children that are now scattered around the area. Find them. Go back to the orphanage. Now go back to the children's little hideout base thing. Defend the base from a monster. Fight the monster. Go back to the orphanage. And then from there, go back to the base to play a mini-game. Quest line finished. It didn't have to be that much backwards and forwards. They could have literally had me go and find the children, help the children, then she can say, by the way, Biggs used to run this orphanage. I didn't need all that backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Yeah. I didn't need any of that.
Yeah, you don't want busy work.
But that's largely what the game is. Like I say, if you haven't played 7 before, it's probably going to be fantastic for it. It's probably going to be amazing. And a lot of the bits they do drop, but like after the busy work, are great. But I don't think they're worth all of that extra legwork.
No.
I don't think that 10-minute segments of Final Fantasy VII deserved to be 3-hour epics. You know?
So we've got some comments from Sane Cat.
Mm-hmm.
FX10, also hundreds of hours. Damn Omega Ruins, Dark Aeons, and capture all of them. Enemies that guy wants at Calmlands or STH. Surely like Final Fantasy VII are though, so some people enjoy it.
Yeah, some people enjoy it. Like I say, if
To
you're
be
new
fair,
to it...
I get the feeling that it's not like you're hating on it, it's just that you think it should be expanded so much.
Yeah, well, because like, when I play it, like I say, I was sat there today, it took me 3 hours to go from the church to leaving Aerith's house.
Yeah. That's too much.
Yeah, it was too long. I got to fight both 2 members of the Turks, Reno and Rude. Those 2 fights were fan-fucking-tastic. But they were very small pieces in this massive shit sandwich.
It needed an editor.
Yeah. It was just a bit much. When it works really well and it's fantastic. I just wish it flowed better. It's got all of the same quest elements and things as Final Fantasy 15, where you'd have to go backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. But the thing with Final Fantasy 15 was I'd never played it before. I'd never experienced the story before. So it worked in Final Fantasy 15. But in Final Fantasy 7, I already know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it does sound a bit to me like the team were too passionate about it and got too involved. Which is normally a good thing, but in this case they got a bit too involved about the whole situation.
They took Final Fantasy 15's formula and tacked it onto Final Fantasy 7. I just hope they finish it. I really hope they tie together all the loose ends in there.
Evening, Annie.
But it's just... I want to like it, but I don't want all this busy work.
No.
But that's it. Hopefully, I might actually finish it by the next podcast, because Inky has almost finished it.
Marvellous.
So if I play for another 2 or 3 days, I might finish it. But I could have also finished the entirety of the original Final Fantasy VII in that time.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Just do a race. One person plays Final Fantasy VII, one person plays the remake, and see who gets there first.
Well, that's the thing. You've got to think the entirety of Midgar is only probably 10 hours.
Yeah.
They've turned it into 30 hours, 35 hours on the remake.
Yeah.
So
there we are.
What have you been playing, Ram?
Well, as much as I've been playing, I'm still playing Green Hell.
Oh, right.
I've got slightly addicted to it.
Okay.
I've built Green Hell, just to summarise, if you weren't here last time, fairly very hardcore, I suppose semi-hardcore survival game. It's out of all the survival games I've played, it's probably the more stricter. You know, you've got with food and stuff, you don't just have food, you have different types of foods broken down to water, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And different things will give you different parts. So it's not about finding food; it's finding the right type of food. I have found it's got somewhat easier, not because I've got to a stage where I always find with survival games where you go to a stage where you've got so much stuff you basically can't lose.
Yep. You end up getting comfortable.
Yeah, I found that in Ark. I found that in the Long Dark. I found that in the Forest. I found that in somewhat in what was the one I played last year? 7 Days to Die. Somewhat. You get to a certain stage, you can't lose. This one, however, I'm finding it easier because I'm actually learning the jungle. So I'm actually walking out going, oh, that's a such and such plant. That will give me this. So I'm actually reading the environment, which is the neat way to make it easier, in my opinion, because you're actually learning and you're being experienced at doing stuff. Those mushrooms there will give me what I need. And they'll give you a little burst of energy.
You're actually being properly engaged in the environment.
Yeah. Or that fruit there, I recognise that. That's going to turn me from parasites later, but I don't need it yet. I'm going to leave where it is. I know where it is. I'll make a mental note where it is. If I get parasites later, I'll go back to it, type thing.
Yeah.
Learn the noise of animals and stuff. So I've started hunting now and going through you have to sort of creep your way through the bush and so forth. And you're learning the noise of hunters and animals. And hunting is quite tricky because the animals are realistically fast. So if you shoot one, they leg it. And if you're using like a bow and arrow, as soon as you start aiming your bow, your stamina starts to drop because you have to strain.
Yeah.
Which means if you spend too long aiming and firing, you've got no stamina to chase it down.
Yeah.
But a headshot's deadly. A headshot kills. So you find yourself actually being patient and actually lining up that perfect shot. So I did my usual thing. I wanted to get myself a little home base set up. So I got to a stage where I could build like mud walls and stuff. And again, you can't just build a base in one hit. So you have to build a wooden frame, but then for the frame you can put a roof on it, and then you can build wooden wall frames to it. And then the wall frames you can add mud sides to, and you have to make your mud up and fit it all in. So I basically built up a little base. And now I've got that, I thought, right, I'm ready to now go further into the jungle. I've got a little home base I feel happy with.
Yep.
So I found myself actually planning out my trip. I wasn't like just, I'm going to go for it. I was like, okay, I want to take myself some kindling, some stuff to start a fire with. I'm going to go hunt a load of meat for the next few days and dry loads of it. So I've got several days worth of meat. I want to make some little things to hold water. Some basic bandages, stuff so that it's got common elements. I'm not going to take like some bamboo and stuff because I'll find that in the wild I'll do that. I can build a hut structure wherever I am.
Yep.
But I want to actually I actually plan my trips out. I'm like, okay, my goal today is to do X, Y, Z. And I find myself planning trips out. And I keep finding all neat things in it. So like you get these coconuts. So if you get coconut, you can harvest. You can basically drink it, which just gives you water. You can harvest it, and you can then eat the flesh, which gives you 2 halves of a coconut, which you can then eat the flesh. That gives you fat and fats and carbohydrates. But you have 2 halves of coconuts, and I didn't know. I thought they were using crafting at some point. I was getting loads of them, so I just sort of dumped them just outside my building. And then it started to rain, and I walked outside, and in actual fact, they'd all filled with water.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so because they're outside, and if you have one, you walk up to a river, it'll fill with the water from the river, and then you can walk in, put it next to a fire, and the fire will boil it and clean it for you.
Now that's really cool.
It's got I'm finding lots of little things like that. Really attention to detail to it.
Stuff that wouldn't normally be in these other survival games, like really nifty mechanics.
Yeah.
The kind of stuff you wish was in other games that...
Yeah. It does break down a little bit. It has got some little things. So the coconut, I'll give you an example of that as well, where it does break down a bit. Yes, you can dunk it in water and hold it and carry it. However, the way you do that is you have your all the stuff that happens in game happens in game. There's no like separate menu which pauses the game. So your backpack appears on your screen. Okay. And you can actually move stuff around your backpack whilst the game is still running. And you just drag it, and you can actually pick stuff up off the ground and drag it into the backpack and vice versa. But what it means is, if you have this coconut, you have to drag it out of your backpack, walk near water to dunk it, and then with the backpack open, walk towards the fire. Trouble is, you can't turn because your mouse is what we use to move stuff out. So you have to sort of like walk forwards and backwards and sidestep.
Oh, okay.
Which makes it a bit awkward.
Okay,
so why it's all set up so that when it's on the... Because if you just put a coconut in water and go to pick it up, you empty it out of print in your backpack.
Okay.
So why it could be you could lift it and hold it, but you can't... So if you pick a rock up, you hold it in your hands, and then you can dump it somewhere. Why they couldn't do that? I mean, that's something they'll add in. But it's really neat. But I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. So I've gone out sort of into the wilderness a bit more. And I'm like making little quick huts up quickly to spend the night in, because you can't sleep on the ground. If you sleep on the ground, you're going to get worms in your arms. So you have to dig out of a knife and what have you. You don't want to do that. Not pleasant, no. Well, you see, you can't. You have to dig them out of bones. So you get bones. The bones you made to bone needles. You then dig it out of your hand. Then you've got the bandage as well. So it uses quite a lot of resources to cure that. And if you don't, they drain your sanity the whole time. And apparently, I have now found out you can go mad, and that's the end of the game.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah, I've died. I've died from bleeding out. I've died from poison several times. I've died from insects. I got killed by ants.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, I've starved to death.
Don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't do that. So it's really neat. So I am fine with planning, exploring. I mean, I've put about off and on probably about sort of like 20, 25 hours now, and I've not really got very far.
Which is pretty hardcore for a survival game. I mean, I put quite a few hours into Long Dark, but it's not one that I've wanted to go back to. Now, I've got the forest, and I've got... what were the other ones? Forest, Long Dark...
Ark Survival Evolved.
Oh, did you find out if... Because you said it was this was similar to Forest.
No, it's not the same developers. I checked.
Okay.
It's different developers.
Okay, cool.
No, I thought it's very similar to the Forest. If you play the Forest, this will feel very similar, but more hardcore.
Yeah, and I've got Green Hell.
Yeah, I saw you bought it.
When the PC arrives, thank you COVID-19 fucking teen. We're gonna have to play together. We're gonna have to play at some point. Also, what was the other game you mentioned? It was not last episode. It might have been the episode beforehand.
What cart game?
No, it was a strategy game. Strategy game.
Oh, Battletech.
I picked that up too.
Oh, marvellous.
It went on sale.
It went. I got through Humble Bundle, so I can't complain too much.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. It went on sale, so I grabbed that too. So when the PC arrives, we're going to have to play both of those.
We are. That'll be cool.
We have to. Rand Nerd Stream. Because I actually thought about it today. With the state of, with the state of everything right now, and the fact that we're not actually allowed to like podcast and all that in the same place, Rand Nerds 24 Hours is probably just going to be me and you sat at our respective computers
for 24 hours.
Yeah. Playing a metric ton of online games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Question about Elite Dangerous.
Yes.
Can we set it up so we can have kind of like a me and you flying around space thing, or do we have to have everyone else in?
I think you can set. I believe you can set like almost like a private server type situation.
Cool.
I believe. I'll have to check. I'll have to remind myself on that.
Cool.
I'll have to double check, but I vaguely remember you can do that.
Because I'm tempted to buy a wheel, buy a HOTAS, and then in the near future, me and you are actually going to have to play some games together.
Yes.
So
perhaps what we need to do is perhaps put aside a game night.
Yes.
We pick a day a week, like we do a podcast, we pick a day a week that day a week is going to be our game night where we get together to play games.
Sounds like a plan.
That's what we need to do.
Needs to be done. We need to find more co-op games that we both own.
We do.
And if anyone...
Far Cry.
Yeah, you can see my stealth shotgun in action.
Yeah. Yeah.
If anyone has any ideas for games they'd like Ram and I to play on one of these game nights...
Fallout 76!
Get fucked.
Yeah, you run Screen Cat. You run Scene Cat.
Yeah, fucking good job, son. Run. We do not mention that hell in fucking this house.
No,
He knows we don't mention Fallout in this house.
You know full well that in this podcast we are Elder Scrolls Online players. God damn it!
I have to throw out there, I actually got invited to play ESO again. Even though last time I played it, I fucking rage quit and threw my control pad. I almost punched out one of my mates when I was playing that game too. I was like, this game sucks ass. How fucking dare you tell me that this is a good game, you dick. In fairness, I got that friend back years later by forcing him to play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. He fucking hates that game. He said, I'm never ever gonna say you didn't give a game a chance again.
Oh dear.
You damn right.
But yeah, we must do that. And yes, Green Hub, I've been enjoying it. My only criticism I think I've had so far of the game is, I killed a crocodile. Just throw it out there. Yeah, I go home. It's at night. I'll picture the scene. I've rested. It's about early hours of the morning, late or perhaps sort of like late evening, sort of like even like 2 a.m. in the morning type sort of situation.
Right.
I lost track of time.
As you do.
I found this docks, which I basically made a little camp site at, so I could save at it and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm sort of like, you said, it's like a sort of remote, second, like my sort of next forward post. I think I'm just going to go down this beach and explore a bit. So I go to this beach and I'm just walking ahead. I just suddenly hear this sort of like hissing, growling noise. And I go, oh fuck, I turn and leg it. And I go, think, what was that? So I sort of walk back. Mm-hmm. Trying to work out where it is. I just see this thing moving in the water. So I just get my arrows, just fire like every arrow I've got at it.
I just imagine you like going,
It doesn't, it stops moving. So I think, have I killed it? So I very gingerly fall. Because I realise it's a crocodile or alligator. I don't know which one it is. I sort of gingerly walk myself towards it. And I sort of think, at any moment I think I'm going to get eaten in a second. I'm just waiting to get eaten in a second. No, it doesn't eat me. So I end up harvesting it, taking all its meat, taking my arrows back, and then, because I've now got back in contact with my wife, I can rage her and say, hey, yeah, by the way, I've just come across I think they call it a caiman, something like that, the breed. And she goes, what? What the fuck? Are you alright? Yeah, I killed it. Oh, what? How did you? Yeah, I'm king of the jungle. I killed it.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I have actually now killed some twice.
Do you want some crocodile or gator skin boots?
Yeah, well, the trouble was, because the meat's so heavy, I ended up dragging it slowly back. I ended up dragging it slowly back to my campsite, just hoping and gradually watching my stamina go down. Thinking, at any moment now, I'm going to collapse on the ground and I'm going to pass out on the ground.
Yeah.
So I gradually dragged back to my campsite to put it on the fire to cook it. It's marvellous.
Good times.
Yeah. Although my only criticism, I think, of it actually at the moment is the fact that your energy goes down too quick. So you have like an energy bar, which is basically when it gets so you have to go to sleep.
Okay.
This guy, he doesn't seem an unfit guy, but his energy seems to go down. I find myself sleeping like full 8 hours sleeping twice a day.
I was going to say, what's the one? Is it narcoleptic?
Yeah, it feels like that. He literally, he said for 8 hours, was active about 4 hours, and had to go back for a full night's sleep again.
Damn.
That's one because it just feels too quickly.
I was going to say, how's that geezer going to handle having a family?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a struggle planning to do anything because you have to really sort of time it right. Because just staying alive is quite time consuming.
No, I get you.
Finding firewood and so forth. Although I've now learned, because I used to have a lot of trouble finding stuff to make fire with, I've now discovered how I can make something I can use as a resource to make basically fibre, which I can use as make an ember with. That took a bit of work. Right now, because I was just like, I was just one point like, oh, I want to cook, but I've got nothing to light the fire with. So I was just digging around looking. There must be some dried up leaves here somewhere, or some bird's nest I can use. And then I found actually I could use this stuff, but it was too late. I did actually have to kill some humans. Some tribes people, they attacked me first.
Right, okay. I was going to say, just randomly popped out and killed the local hipster.
No, well, yeah, but they had it coming with their local hipster. But these tribespeople, they attacked me first. That's the story I'm saying. I'm sticking by it. I killed them both, and all of a sudden says, "You can harvest these people." Okay,
Good
and
job.
it was 6 bits of human meat.
There you go.
But because I don't want to eat it raw, I was trying to get the fire going. By the time I got the fire going, it had rotten. So I haven't actually eaten human meat yet, but it looked quite decent.
It looked quite good.
I haven't cooked it yet to try out, so
You could have fed it to your Cayman friend.
I definitely, yeah. That would be quite good if you have a pet that you could feed stuff
That'd
to.
be fantastic.
Will that be too stressful?
It's got a tame Cayman.
So I've got one bit of meat, and either me or the dog's got to have it. And let's be honest, the dog's getting it.
Yeah, that's it. Well, just go and find more tribes people to feed to it.
That's why he's doing Far Cry.
Yeah, just go and wipe out all the locals. They don't need to be there. And then, when you finally get out of the green hell, right, then you can become some crazy ass... Look, I assume you're a white guy, right? You'll put on your suit, do up your tie, the evil starts to flow, you go back through your fucking, deforestation, the whole lot's gone, you can put your apartment complex on there. That'd be great. I assume that's how it's going to work. Just a theory, because you've killed all the locals, so you don't have to worry about any of the legal problems.
I've killed 2 of them.
Yeah, right, Ram. 2. Starts with 2. The first 2 are an accident. What about the rest of those accidents you keep on having?
I must admit, I'm doing quite a lot of deforestation. Because you'd be surprising how many logs is required to build a base.
See? Typical white guy. Typical white guy goes marching into someone else's fucking home, steals all their resources, and then says, look, you lot, come on, out, I need this. It's my land now. And they're like, okay, okay, whatever, see ya. Hey, look, here, have some stones. Wow, shiny pebbles. And off they go. And there you go.
Yeah.
You put on your suit.
We know the British Empire worked. You basically went somewhere, stuck your flag in the beach and said, it's ours now.
Hey,
Who are those people?
you and you, fuck off. We're having tiffin.
What are you doing here? What are you doing on our land all of?
And they're like, oh, sorry. We didn't realise we were... Oh, bye. It's like, idiots.
What do you mean your land? We're British. Oh, okay then.
And then a bit later they're like, hang on a minute. We live here. And we're like, oh, they got us here. They got us.
Yeah. Big chief signed the contract. The British Empire. What? Yeah.
America's doing the same thing with Starbucks. They're just putting them everywhere and we're all losing our minds. We lose our will to rebel. We all become mini Americans. That's just a
go
thought.
Starbucks.
It's just a thought.
Starbucks.
The fact that this town has, like, what, 2 of them now? 3?
3 Starbucks?
Yeah, I think so. There's one in town, one by the Asda. And is there not one by where you work?
That's Costa.
Oh, is it? Same thing to me. Shitty coffee.
No, Costa's British.
Yeah, shitty coffee.
Still British.
Shit.
I want my British shitty coffee rather than nice American.
There's still 2. There's still 2 of them in this town. 2.
Yeah.
2! They're almost outnumbering McDonald's at this point.
Yeah, they are pushing that.
Just wait till we get a 3rd. Then we've got a problem.
Yeah.
Soon there'll be more Starbucks than houses.
I'm just going through the comments here quickly. We should use the FSUAE emulator and play favourite Amiga games together using AmigaLive.com multiplayer gaming project.
There you go. The more you know.
Anything else?
The only emulator that'll be on my new PC will be PPSSPP for playing Crisis Core. That's it.
Yeah. That's what we need to do.
Nothing else? No other suggestions?
No, apart from Fallout 76, the other suggestions we've had.
Nope.
Okay, well, we can move on to TV, because I'm watching a TV series. As to see if it's going to surprise you.
Go on then.
Or, no, it's not. I'm not surprised you can surprise that I've been watching it.
Go
Because
on.
you know what I think about this universe.
Go on.
I've watched The Mandalorian.
Oh God.
Star Wars.
Oh God.
Yes.
Wait, don't you have to pay for a specific subscription to another service for that?
Disney, which
Ugh.
I'm not paying for.
Ugh.
Mother got a free trial on.
Ugh.
I had heard good things about it, so I said, look, for what I've heard is if you don't like Star Wars, you'll probably like The Mandalorian. I said, let's give it a go.
Okay.
So we'd had it. So one evening, picked it up, and I have really enjoyed it. Like I say, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I've enjoyed it probably because it's not really heavy on all the. It's a bit more slower paced, a bit more. It feels actually it's a bit more self-contained. Each episode's about minutes long. They vary a little bit, and there is an overall arc, but generally they're quite self-contained.
Okay.
And they works really well because they're nice, they're really tightly paced and so forth. I've been really enjoying it. So the basic story is this guy is a bounty hunter. It's set now. I'm not very good at my Star Wars timeline. So anyone who's a Star Wars fan is gonna really hate me right now. I think it's set after the Empire, which are the baddie boys, basically lost at the end of the Return of the Jedi. I think it's set about 10 years after that, but I really don't know. So perhaps someone will correct me on this matter. I don't know. Anyway, it's set after all the shit went down,
Right.
and the Empire basically collapsed. And your guy's Mandalorian, who's the same people as Boba Fett, who I do know, not personally, obviously.
I was gonna say, sure.
Yeah, I've got him on speed dial.
God damn.
And,
So you've
yeah,
got all the
that's-
fictional characters, and I've got all the dictators.
Yeah, some of them are fictional characters as well. And basically, he's a bounty hunter, and he's given his contract to capture an asset. And when he goes to capture said asset, he fights his way through, gets there. He discovers that said asset actually, I don't think it's actually Baby Yoda, but it looks like Baby Yoda.
Okay.
Of the same species, and he decides to take it back and thinks to himself, I'm not sure actually what's going to happen to this child. I'm actually going to protect it rather than hand it over to those leftover remains of the Empire who are hired him. I thought I'm actually going to just not do that and just look after it. So it's basically a bounty hunter becomes a daddy.
Oh, there you go.
And how it's all about looking after your kids basically. It's all about being a parent.
I was gonna say, I want to look. We've been in quarantine for. I've lost track of time now. If I had my way, I'd just throw them out to the streets. So go on.
Well, you'll be no good as a Mandalorian. It's got some sweet moments in it. It's like a little callback. It's this bit where the Baby Yoda basically has his ship, just starts playing the controls, and he's got this joystick part, lever, and it's got a little knob on the top of it, and he unscrews. He starts to play with it. He takes it off, puts it back on. And about 5 seconds later, he sort of looks at the little Baby Yoda, unscrews it, and gives it to him. I was like, oh, that's a bit sweet. But then later on, in another episode, it calls back to you because he suddenly just sits there and he just, without thinking, he just gets ship and it unscrews and hands it back to him to play with. It's got a little sweet. It's quite sweet actually, sort of thing. And yeah, it actually makes me think of Farscape in a lot of ways.
Right.
Some of the sort of stories. I mean, I'm never going to be a fan of the sort of. I've never been a great fan of sort of the bug-eyed sort of aliens and sort of suit type things that Star Wars went down. However, I did like Farscape, and it's sort of playing with the same vibe. Some of the plot lines as well play with the same vibe, and it's been quite decent. So I was very pleasantly surprised by how good it was and how much I'm enjoying it. My things I'm picking up with, though, which I'm a little bit annoyed by, is that Disney are bastards. So
Surprise!
Disney, yeah, who'd have thought this? Disney a bunch of arseholes. Disney have... So Mandalorian's fully released in the US. It came out, I think, end of last year. It started being broadcast, or really early part of this year.
Back when all of the Baby Yoda memes hit.
Yeah. And it's fully released over there. They are releasing it still weekly over here. And I know why.
To keep people subscribed.
Yes. So we got into it, and they had 5 episodes released. There's 8 episodes in the season. We're now on chapter 7, so we've got 1 more to go, and we've got the whole lot off. But I was like, I feel like, oh, hang on, this is fully released in the US. That's a weird thing to be doing anyway, to split the release up. I don't think Disney was launched at this point over here. But then why on earth are you doing the weekly release, apart from the fact that you want to basically generate money?
Because they want to generate money.
Yeah. I mean, the Disney service, I mean, for me, it's not a very good service because most of the stuff on it I will never watch. I don't like Marvel films.
No,
I'm not a great fan of them. A few of the series I like. I like The Punisher, and I enjoyed that. But 99% of them have no interest in. Not really interested in Pixar stuff. I think they're all the same. I've watched a few of them, and they tend to put the same characters, same tropes, same sort of story. They tend to come out again and again and again, and the same jokes get reused again and again and again.
Yeah,
they're not that original Pixar films. I'm not a great fan of those. I'm not a fan of Disney films. So it's a lot on it for me, truth be told. Now, if you want to eat those things, well, if you're interested in Marvel, you'd be sorted. So to be fair, it's just not probably for me. I mean, it's cheaper than Netflix. It's only $5.99 a month, whereas Netflix is now £9 a month. Sure. So it's quite a bit cheaper, but not worth it for me. And their interface is a bit shit as well. So I wouldn't recommend it, but I do feel like it was a bit of a... If they were releasing it weekly over here in the States simultaneously, fine. Because Netflix do that as well.
I think in the future they'll probably do it, but because, as you say, we probably didn't have Disney Plus by the time they finished airing it in America, so they wanted to find a way to keep us tied in.
Yeah, but the trouble is at that point, we're not like the old days where we were disconnected from the States and us. So we were disconnected. So, 20 years ago, it wasn't a problem. You could release it and stuff would filter through if you went to the right forms and stuff, but you were quite safe from being spoiled. But now, if it's released in the States a week early, you're going to have all the spoilers. But unless you basically keep away from the internet, you're going to see all the memes, or so you're going to have it spoiled for you before it comes out.
Yep.
That's its big problem.
But again, they like money.
They do.
That is literally it. That's just it. But then, as I say, seeing as we now have Disney over here, the Disney, whatever it is over here, Disney Channel, Disney fucking fluff, whatever, Netflix Disney edition, I imagine that every other release they make, or every other release they have, is going to be simultaneous with the States. Just at this point, they were like, oh, what's the big heavy hitter? We've only just released in the UK. We're going to have to trickle it out. Otherwise, they're literally just they're going to use the free trial, power through the episodes, and then they're not actually going to subscribe.
And the free trial is only a week.
Well.
It's only a week you get, which I think Netflix I think Amazon Prime are both a month, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but it's only a week, so I was a bit shocked by that. I thought it was a bit shit. It doesn't particularly... I can see us unsubscribing, perhaps resubscribing for the next series type jobby.
No, I get you.
Yeah, so still better than Now TV, which is absolutely shockingly bad. So, but I will say if you got, wait till next week when they've released the whole lot, and then sign for the free trial. But if you've not seen it, but you're not a fan of Star Wars, actually give it a go, because I'm a fan of Star Wars. I really enjoyed it.
Fair enough.
Ironically, a lot of people have said I know Sincal mentioned watching has enjoyed it. Sincal, are you a big fan of Star Wars in general, or is it all? I'm interested to know, because I've seen a few people online say really dislike it, but I don't know if it's a case of if you like traditional Star Wars, you won't like this. So I'm interested to see other people's thoughts on it. So I'm interested to see if you're a Star Wars fan, or if you are a fan of this, but in spite of it. So, but I'm actually. Oh, it's quite. I will say some nice things about it. It's shot very old-fashionedly. They use all the old-fashioned transitions.
Right.
I like both Star Wars and Star Trek. There we go. Marvelous. That's good. Simple reference. So they use a lot of the old-style transitions, like from Star Wars. It feels really old-fashioned. I was watching some people background, and apparently when they did the CGI for it, they tried to make, especially for like Baby Yoda, they tried to make the CGI Baby Yoda look like a puppet moving.
Okay.
Rather than an animated character, because he wanted to sort of make it fit in, and it works really well. Not a hardcore fan. Yeah, you're a normal fan is what I'd call that. Hardcore fans are basically scary. But yeah, so it's very light of the CGI, which is there. It's quite good. It feels like a really old-fashioned thing, and it's got music that's really old-fashioned as well. Sort of feels like 70s, 80s sci-fi.
Sure.
When I'm watching it, I mean, the soundtrack's really good. I was gonna get the soundtrack, but I found they're releasing it by chapter. And when I say chapter's an episode.
Oh.
So again, like £8 a chapter. So I'm not paying.
They really like money.
20 quid for the whole soundtrack for the whole series. £8 per episode. No, I'm not doing that.
But they really like money.
They do. But on the ending of it, they put at the end. I'm guessing they're the what's it called? The before they film it, they get artists draw the stuff in advance, so like get an idea what they're looking for. What's it called? I won't say pre-render artwork, but it's not pre-render artwork. It's like storyboard artwork.
You mean like the concept art?
That's it, concept art. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, the ending sequence is all the concept art.
That's neat.
It must be. The reason I say it must be concept art is because it doesn't quite match up with what was filmed.
Okay.
So if they were just drawing what the scenes in the film, it'd be quite close. But like certain characters are completely different than concept art, which makes you realise this is probably what they're drawing in advance. But it's beautiful. They put it all at the end. I was like, some of those shots, I think, I would love to have that actually on the wall because it looks so good. So I've enjoyed it. It is definitely a slow-paced series.
Right.
But good. But Mandalorian, recommend.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Interesting. I would say I think I'm more sci-fi than you. I think you're obviously a bit more into like anime style sci-fi. I think it's fair to say.
I'm not really into. I've never really been into live action stuff. To be honest with you.
No.
It's just most of it's trash. Like it's people who can't act trying to do something really serious, and it's just not good.
Yeah.
Most sci-fi is worse than the average super budget horror film. And to me it just sucks. Like it just ruins the story for me. I can't ever look past that. I know of stuff. I have watched stuff, but I look just some of them. I've seen a lot of shows. I just wouldn't go back to them, or I don't find them memorable. So
yeah, fair enough. That's it from me.
That's it. I've got nothing.
So, well, thank you very much everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed another one of our lockdown. Thank you for joining us, Annie and Cat. Thank you both for joining us this evening. So yes, we'll be back again in a fortnight's time, and we'll actually be very helpful to get the date up. We'll be back again on the 9th of May.
If we're lucky, I might actually have my new rig by then.
If we're lucky, it's not been held up by COVID.
There's one part missing. That's why it's not here yet.
Oh yes, I've got to say a quick update on the Warhammer drought situation.
Right.
Its times have got worse. All the shops that did have Warhammer stuff as I was ordered from are all now out of stock, and some have even shut down their doors.
Wow.
Goblin Gaming have shut their doors.
Oh.
Not permanently.
They just look.
But
They got nothing going on.
They've got nothing to sell.
Wow. That drought is hardcore.
Yeah. And yeah, they've shut down, and lots of other places because a lot of places are now estimating dispatch date of the earliest of end of May.
Ooh.
Well, that's presumably when they think Games Workshop. The thing is, all these places that are selling online are all stock. When Games Workshop start back up, there's going to be a backlog.
Yeah, it's all gonna disappear.
Yeah. It doesn't help if you go on, like I have looked on Amazon and stuff to see what was on there, and now all the price scroungers out there, they've put the price up. When you can now buy stuff on Amazon for more than it costs on Games Workshop's website, it's like, nah, not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not that desperate.
This way, I've had the same issue. I was looking for a keyboard and mouse for the new rig. Completely forgot I don't actually have a spare keyboard and mouse anymore because I gave all my old gaming gear to the kids. And that's all like since worn out or broken. I was like, yeah, keyboard and mouse. All I want is this one and this one. Could I find them anywhere? Could I? Fuck. I bought a mouse for my laptop.
Have you been on eBay?
Yeah,
at all?
they didn't have it.
Really?
They didn't have the stuff I wanted. One place had them, and even then I had to buy them from a third party selling on that place. So that was a ball ache. And I ordered a mouse for my laptop, because obviously I fixed my laptop that I mentioned I think I mentioned it in the last episode, that I bust out my old gaming laptop, the faulty fan. The fan completely failed. We replaced it. It works great now. Let's put it this way, it will now go to sleep and wake up again without crashing. Didn't think that would be related to the fan, but apparently it was. Yeah, I bought a mouse to go with the laptop, to match the laptop. And there was several in stock. Put in my order. Month later, it's still not here. So, woo! Web cameras sold out everywhere. Capture cards sold out everywhere. Games consoles sold out everywhere. Graphics cards sold out everywhere. Just, if you're a price gouger, right? I swear, if I find out you are botting any of the things that I want to purchase, I will hunt you down. I will call all of my dictator friends and I will have you hung in the town fucking square. Cut it the fuck out. You're doing my head in. Quarantine is bad enough. Don't anger me any further, please.
Yeah.
I have a family to look after.
Did you see that guy who bought a load of toilet rolls and hand sanitizer?
And the government stopped him. They blocked him. They blocked him.
Not just that. This is not that's different place, but this is in Australia.
Oh right.
The guy bought a load of toilet roll and hand sanitizer and tried to sell it on. When people didn't buy it off him, he tried to return it to the shop he bought it off, and they said he couldn't return it. So he's actually now stuck with $10,000, or $10,000 of like toilet paper that he can't actually sell because no one's buying it off him.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Good.
Serves you fucking right.
I hope your whole family suffer because of it, you bastard.
Yeah.
I hope you have to eat toilet roll.
It's not his family's fault, to be fair. They can't help their father's a douchebag.
Hey, they should have. Right, they are probably right now pelting him with toilet roll. He probably wakes up like his food just has toilet roll in it, just ground up blended toilet roll.
Just wrap him up in it like a mummy.
Fucking yeah, just coat him in hand sanitizer and wrap him in toilet roll.
Yeah. Like papier-mâché.
Yeah, fuck
the most hygienic papier-mâché ever made. He won't get COVID. He'll be dead as well. So.
Yes, he'll be long dead.
I said to Mother, I said about with Trump saying that, inject disinfectant into your veins to kill the COVID. I said, well, he's not technically wrong because if you're dead, you're not infected anymore.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so he's technically right.
Technically.
Yeah. He's still an idiot, but he's technically right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's it.
On that note, so
We're
thank you for
done.
watching. We'll see you on the 9th of May. Hope you have a good time. Keep safe, everybody. Alice has said, Mum, why don't we have any food? Shut up and eat your toilet paper. Enjoy it. So, thank you for watching. Keep safe. Keep it in if you can. Don't go out. Remain indoors. All the takeaway. We'll see you in a fortnight's time.
Rockin'. Take it easy,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.